29 fights, 29 victories, 0 defeats. In the brutal world of mixed martial arts, where legends are made and broken in seconds, one man stands alone at the summit of perfection. This is the story of Khabib Nurmagomedov, the eagle who soared higher than anyone thought possible and retired as the most dominant champion in UFC history. But his journey to greatness began long before the bright lights of the octagon. In the rugged mountains of Dagestan, Russia, where ancient warriors once roamed, Khabib Abdulmanapovich Nurmagomedov was born on September 20th, 1988. This wasn't just any birthplace. Dagestan is known as the breeding ground for some of the world's most feared fighters. Under the watchful eye of his father, Abdulmanap Nurmagomedov, himself a decorated combat sambo champion and military veteran, young Khabib's destiny was sealed before he could even walk properly. Abdulmanap didn't just want to raise a fighter, he wanted to create a perfect martial artist. By age 9, Khabib was wrestling bears. Yeah, you heard that right. Actual bears. While other kids played video games, Khabib was grappling with 200-pound cubs, developing the supernatural strength and fearlessness that would later terrorize UFC lightweights. His father's philosophy was simple. If you can control a bear, you can control any human. This wasn't just physical training, it was mental conditioning on a level that Western fighters couldn't comprehend. Every day was a test of will, discipline, and technique. Khabib's professional MMA debut came in 2008 at just 20 years old. Fighting in local promotions across Russia, he immediately showcased something special. A grappling style so dominant, so suffocating that opponents looked helpless against it. Fight after fight, the pattern was the same. Khabib would close the distance, secure the takedown, and then unleash what fans would later call Dagestani handcuffs, a relentless ground control that made grown men tap out from exhaustion and desperation. By 2012, with a perfect 16-0 record, the UFC couldn't ignore the mountain warrior any longer. Dana White signed Khabib, but few predicted that he would become the promotion's most dominant champion. His UFC debut against Kamal Shalarus was a statement. Khabib didn't just win, he overwhelmed a veteran fighter with such ease that Joe Rogan called it, quote, a different level of grappling. Then came Gleison Chibao, a notorious takedown defense specialist. Khabib took him down at will. The breakthrough came against future champion Rafael dos Anjos. Khabib didn't just defeat him, he dominated him so thoroughly that dos Anjos later admitted that he felt like he was drowning. This wasn't just superior technique, this was psychological warfare through physical domination. But the mountain's greatest test wasn't an opponent, it was his own body. Injuries kept Khabib sidelined for nearly 2 years, leading many to question if he could ever maintain his dominance. The Eagle had other plans. April 7th, 2018, UFC 223. After years of setbacks and canceled fights, Khabib finally got his shot at the lightweight title against Al Iaquinta. It wasn't the fight fans wanted, but Khabib treated it like the most important moment of his life. 5 rounds later, Khabib was the undisputed UFC lightweight champion. But this was just the beginning of his legendary title reign. Then came the fight that would define both men's legacies. Conor McGregor, the biggest star in MMA history, versus Khabib Nurmagomedov. The personal attacks, the bus incident, the religious insults, this wasn't just about titles anymore, this was personal. October 6th, 2018, UFC 229, Las Vegas. The most watched fight in UFC history was about to unfold. 2 million people purchased the pay-per-view to see if McGregor's striking could solve Khabib's grappling puzzle. For 4 rounds, the world watched Khabib systematically dismantle the most dangerous striker in the division. He didn't just win, he dominated McGregor so completely that the Irishman resorted to illegal knee strikes and fence grabs out of pure desperation. In the 4th round, Khabib secured a neck crank that forced McGregor to tap, but the Eagle wasn't finished. Years of personal attacks and family insults demanded more than just victory. What happened next shocked the world. Khabib leaped over the cage to confront McGregor's teammate, Dylan Dennis, sparking the biggest brawl in UFC history. In that moment, Khabib showed the world that some lines cannot be crossed without consequences. After the McGregor chaos settled, Khabib faced his next challenge, Dustin Poirier, arguably the most well-rounded fighter in the division. Poirier had knockout power, elite cardio, and a ground game that had improved dramatically. September 7th, 2019, Abu Dhabi. Fighting in the Middle East for the first time, Khabib had the support of an entire region. Against Poirier, he showed a new dimension, elite striking to set up his takedowns. In the 3rd round, after systematically breaking down Poirier's defenses, Khabib secured a rear naked choke. Another elite contender, another dominant victory. The pattern was becoming undeniable. His final challenge would come from Justin Gaethje, the most dangerous striker Khabib had ever faced. Gaethje's leg kicks had ended careers years. His takedown defense was elite, and his cardio was legendary. But as Khabib prepared for UFC 254, tragedy struck. His father and greatest mentor, Abdulmanap, fell seriously ill with COVID-19. The man who had shaped the Eagle into a perfect fighter was fighting for his own life. On July 3rd, 2020, Khabib Nurmagomedov passed away. Khabib had lost more than just a father. He had lost his coach, his inspiration, and his guiding light. The question became, could the Eagle soar without the man who taught him to fly? October 24th, 2020, Fight Island, UFC 254. Khabib entered the octagon carrying the weight of his father's dreams and an entire nation's expectations. Against Gaethje, he would either cement his legacy or see it crumble under emotional pressure. For 2 rounds, Khabib showed levels to his game that even longtime fans hadn't seen. His striking was sharp, his takedowns were timed perfectly, and his control was suffocating. Gaethje, known for his legendary toughness, looked helpless. In the second round, Khabib scored a perfect triangle choke. Gaethje, who had never been submitted before, was forced to tap. 29-0, undisputed, undefeated, unstoppable. But what happened next stunned the MMA world. With tears in his eyes, Khabib placed his gloves in the center of the octagon and announced his retirement. At just 32 years old, at the peak of his powers, the Eagle chose to fly away. His promise to his mother was simple. Without his father in his corner, he would never fight again. In a sport where athletes often compete past their prime, Khabib chose family over fame, honor over money. What Khabib Nurmagomedov accomplished transcends statistics. Yes, he retired 29-0. Yes, he never lost a single round in his UFC title defenses. Yes, he made elite fighters look like amateurs. But his true legacy runs deeper. He proved that humility and dominance could coexist. He showed that traditional values could triumph in modern competition. He demonstrated that mental strength was just as important as physical skill. Today, in gyms across Dagestan and around the world, young fighters train with Khabib's example burning in their minds. They see that perfection is possible, that undefeated careers can exist, and that true champions retire on their own terms. In a sport defined by violence, Khabib brought honor. In a division known for chaos, he brought order. In a world obsessed with talking, he let his actions speak louder than any words ever could. Khabib Nurmagomedov, 29-0, undisputed, undefeated, and unforgettable. The Eagle has landed, but his legend soars eternal. Now, what do you think made Khabib so dominant? Let us know in the comments down below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more legendary fighter breakdowns.